Hello everybody, I am Tiffany and today I am bringing you another book review. That is right, I have knocked another book out, and because I finished this book, this means that I actually knocked out a series. I feel very accomplished in life right now that I just finished another series. This book I will say I was gonna wait on and do a bunch of other books first, but I really was enjoying the series, so I just decided to go ahead and do this one since it was only one more book left and I already had it, so why not, right? Just finish the series while it's fresh in your head. But this series has been so much fun. I do have reviews up for the first and second book. It is a trilogy, so make sure you go ahead and check those out. And the book I'm reviewing today is of course the third and final book in this series, and that is Calamity by Brandon Sanderson, who, if you've been with my channel for a while, as you know, is one of my favorite authors. He's also the author of the Mistborn series, which is proudly displayed right here. I've read these three, not these three, but oh my god, these three. He is such a great fantasy writer, and when I saw he had this series and that it was another trilogy and it was another Brandon Sanderson series I could knock out of the park, I was like, oh heck yeah, I'm grabbing it. The third book was pretty solid overall, and I will say the third book I still really enjoyed, but it did have its flaws and it did fall a little short for me. For those of you who want statistics, this book does have a 4.19 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, which is lower than the previous book, and I actually do believe that's accurate. And for those of you who don't know what this series is about, it's called The Reckoners. The first book is called Steelheart, second book Firefight. They're both right here, Steelheart and Firefight, and they have beautiful covers. This is beautiful! It's beautiful. It's a trilogy and it follows this one character named David who lives in a society that has been taken over by people with superpowers, but they're evil. This thing in the sky called Calamity has presenced itself, and all of a sudden these people started gaining powers, but then they ended up being corrupted and turning evil with these powers. And so David ends up getting completely enthralled and thrown into this world of fighting these superheroes. It's a really fun story. It's very reminiscent of The Boys from Amazon Prime, and it's also a comic book series before it was actually a show. Has that very same vibe to it, which I really liked and which what got me hooked on it in the first place. Calamity is the biggest book out of all of them. I'm not saying they're super short, but they're just super fast paced, so you get through them pretty quickly. There isn't much more I can tell you without spoiling you. I will say that my favorite book I think is Firefight, in all honesty. I really liked the development in that one. Steelheart's pretty solid, so if I had to rank it, it'd be Firefight, Steelheart, and then Calamity. But go read the series. It is really good, and like I said, it's not a lot of books. It's 3 books and they're really fast and fun-filled and action-packed, and oh, it's just so good, and the character development is so great. Sorry, non-spoilery people, that's it. It's the third book in a series. There isn't much I can say without spoiling you, so come back when you've read the series and talk about the feels with me and how you felt about it, whether you agree with me or not. Goodbye, non-spoilery people. Goodbye. This book I have been dying to talk about, in all honesty. I was so enthralled in it. But I will say about 90% of this book for me was absolutely fantastic. I thought the build overall until the end was super good. Where we left off in Firefight, Prof was evil now, Megan was back on their side, and Val and Exo had been killed. Pretty much the Reckoners were no more because their main leader just turned evil. Also, you had David, who had potentially become an epic, but you don't know if he's an epic. Oh, it was just craziness. And the opening, I love the openings to these books because they just completely captivate you right off the bat. And the very opening sequence is about them trying to get technology from Nighthawk. And you automatically see how Megan's doing. You see Abraham and Cody again. I missed them so much. They were not in the second book. I was so upset. So as soon as I saw they were, I was so happy. You see Mizzy's still there, and Megan is now a part of their team. And you get to see her use her fantastic powers in this opening. And one thing you wanted to kind of figure out is whether Megan had truly beaten the darkness. Now you find out early on she doesn't completely have control over it, but facing the fear does make it go away in a weird way, or at least tame it. But I like how they set that up because you realize, okay, she is still fighting this darkness within her, which is very scary because if she loses it and turns against them, they have no one. But her and David are together. And I am so glad throughout this book that you don't have any questioning of their relationship. I liked their development of the relationship throughout this. Usually you have them get together in like the second book, for example, and then they break up and you have to wait forever for them to get back together. Don't get me started on some of these series that did that. It was a pain in the butt. And I thought this was great because the first book they weren't really together. He liked her, he fell in love with her, but they weren't together. Second book, they started communicating more and becoming closer, and you know that they kind of liked each other, but they never solidified it. You only have the third book for them to be a couple, and it was just so nice to not have a couple questioning their relationship in a book. But I did like that they introduced that she wasn't completely over this darkness, because then it puts this edge on the book because you don't know if she's gonna turn or not. You get introduced to Nighthawk. I loved his character throughout this book, in all honesty. He was just hilarious to me. I don't know why he was, but oh my god. There's this whole part of the book where he's messaging them, and I'm laughing so hard because he's messaged David 38 times, and David finally answers, and he goes, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And then Nighthawk responds, "I'm bored. What you up to?" And I just died of laughter. It was just hilarious. And that was one point I wish they had fully developed in the book. A big thing with Nighthawk is his wife and wanting to be able to revive her and hopefully heal her. And you never get that conclusion. You know that he wants Prof's DNA in order to do that, and he gets it, but you don't hear any follow-up. Still, I loved his character and his introduction. It was just really great, and it was nice to have a new ally. Everyone's just against them. Going into the Salt City that was Atlanta now, that was so interesting. One thing I've loved in this series is just the different environments that they have to go in. You're introduced to New Chicago, New Babalar, which is New York, and then now Atlanta, which is turned into a giant salt city where it disintegrates after a while, and then you have to move and pick up your stuff and go to where stuff is building again. That would be annoying. I would hate moving that much. I already hate moving, and when I have to move, it sucks. So imagining that city, that would be torture. And you get introduced to a lot more epic powers. That's always fun for me. I like seeing the different powers. And you get introduced to this guy named Larsener, who you don't know much about. You just know he has this really all-powerful ability to absorb powers, but he's never done it. And I like how you don't really know where he's at throughout. The moment where he comes through their base, I freaked out. I was just going, wait, that's Larsener, watch out. And that also put an edge throughout it. That's the thing. This book had me anxiety level. One, you had to deal with Megan, who is still fighting darkness, so you don't know if she's gonna change. You have Larsener now, who is a jerk. You don't know what he's doing. He's just lazy, and you don't get it. And it's scary because he's with them. He's not helping them. He's just staying with them until all this blows over, apparently. He was super annoying. I didn't like Larsener at all throughout this book. Prof's whole thing, gosh, his whole storyline was so sad. I was so mad when he killed Tia. Tia hit hard. I was waiting for a character to die. I know Brandon Sanderson kills characters. I remember in Mistborn quite fondly. Tia dying shocked me, especially the way it came about, but I thought it was great how he did it, actually, because you don't know if she's alive after firefight, but you're pretty sure she's alive. They didn't tell you she was dead. And they come across her finally once again, and automatically she gets captured by Prof because she decided to order her colas. So when you go into this rescue mission and she's about to escape, my brain didn't think she was gonna die. I expected maybe she would be the character to die later on, but not yet. I thought there'd be this final confrontation and that's when she would die. But it still worked really well. You needed something major to happen in that moment, and to have the person that plans the best and creates the best plans die, that's crazy. And because of the timing of it, it worked so well that it catches you off guard in the best way. That whole mission was crazy intense. Seeing Megan's full powers, that was crazy. I love Megan's powers. I wish they were explored more in this book. You get a taste, you see that she's able to open to alternate dimensions. You see Firefight, you meet these whole other people. She pulls basically Prof's daughter from another dimension to fight Prof. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm so mad that that didn't get utilized enough. Once you know about this alternate dimension, it falls flat, and that made me very upset that that fell flat. And that's why I said 90% of this book was really, really good. The build up to the end was fantastic. That final battle with Prof, beautiful. I could picture it perfectly. The writing was great. You have Cody trying to fight with the new tensors and the new gadgets that they got from Nighthawk. You have David's power that you don't know if it's gonna come out. You have Megan fighting and she's all of a sudden got control over it. You just have all of this craziness going on, but then all of a sudden Larsener comes up and decides to take Prof's power. Now backtracking a little bit, we found out through Megan that Larsener couldn't take Megan's power, and you find out because she truly owns her power. power at the end of the day. She accepts it. That's a part of her. It's hers, which is weird because that's never fully explained. After Larsener touches and absorbs Prof's power, that's when things just went crazy. We're about to get into the ending right now. First of all, I knew I was not going to be satisfied because of when the battle ended. I saw how many pages I had left versus after we just finished the battle, and I went, oh no. Because there was a lot of stuff that still needed to be wrapped up. Nothing really got wrapped up the way I wanted. But the sad thing is there were some really great ideas in there that if they just did it a little bit differently, it would have been like perfect. This series has been so perfect except for that ending. It kind of sucked. No, it sucked. One, David's power. You have a moment in that mission in order to save Tia towards the very end where David unleashes this power. It's steel, I think, like Steelheart. It's never mentioned again. You know that he denied his power in New York, but the fact that he's been having nightmares, that it's been developing, I expected something bigger with that. Nothing happened with that. Two, all of a sudden Prof has his powers and Megan still has hers, and their whole thing is that they can claim their powers and make them theirs only, but it's still not fully explained with that. Larsener's all powerful. That was a good twist. I liked that. I liked the fact that Larsener was indeed Calamity, but I still didn't like how it played out. Calamity's the ultimate. He has all of these powers. That was a weak battle. This should have been the boss, okay? You're playing a video game. Prof's like the second to last boss. That's like, whew, man, that was kind of tough. And then Calamity's supposed to be the one you look at and go, aw, shucks. That's what it's supposed to be. It wasn't epic really at all. You have Megan come in, you have Prof come in, and all of a sudden they just get Calamity to go away? They bring him to an alternate dimension where they see that he went away and that everybody's good now. And so that makes him go, oh my gosh, wait, I'm the evil source. That's why all you people are evil in this other dimension. I'm just gonna head out. Goodbye. That makes no sense. Again with the alternate dimension, they did not build that enough. You had this huge build up. David meets Firefight. Firefight says, that's so weird because in our dimension you died. And you see Steelheart in the background being a hero. And you're reading it going, what? He's a good guy in this? They say that Steelheart killed David. So now I'm sitting there waiting for it to explain that was David evil in this other dimension? What happened? They never explain it. They show that it's his dad, that in this alternate dimension, his dad became Steelheart. Again, I liked that element, but they don't explain what happened. It just seems like it was an accident that David died. Again, another thing that just fell through. It made me very upset. This buildup was so good. I don't know if other people agree, but it was intense. It was action-packed. If it just had 200 pages more, that would have made it a 600-page book or so. I don't care. You do as many pages as you need to do an ending right. It made me really, really upset. The whole series is so good. 90% of this book is good, but the last 10% just... It personally, for me, feels like it was rushed. It felt like something happened. It felt like there was a time pressure or I don't know. I don't know what happened and it just got rushed. Again, I liked certain things. I liked the fact that Larsener ended up being Calamity. That was a good twist. Didn't deliver it right. I liked that his father is Steelheart in the alternate dimension. Didn't deliver it right. There should have been an epic battle with Larsener. They should have had Larsener be this ultimate villain and they have to bring the people in from the dimension and they all have to fight Calamity together. That would have been so cool. Oh, I really want that now. They should have done more stuff with the alternate dimensions. And you have Firefight there, and Tavi, and Megan, and Prof, and maybe Tia from another dimension, and Steelheart, which is David's dad, and David, and his power unleashes, and they have to fight Calamity together. That would have been epic as heck. Well, that is all I have to say about this book. Let me know what you thought, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people were frustrated by this ending, not just me. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any other book, movie, TV recommendations that you would like me to read, watch, review, just let me know. Leave them in the comments below and I will watch them or read them and review them for you. If you want any other updates, go to tiffanyBooksandMovies.blogspot.com. That is my blog. I just post when I have new videos up. If there's any weird updates of why there's a video not up or something. And I'm an actress, so I try and post when fun acting stuff is going on. But thank you so much for joining me. I really, really love all of you guys, and thank you so much for sticking with me and watching this. Have an awesome day, evening, afternoon, whatever time of the day you're watching this, and don't forget to be awesome. Goodbye! Whoa!